On the shores of the Gulf of Mexico, engineers are building a technological masterpiece called Perdido. 45,000 tons of steel will be transformed into the most advanced oil rig in the world. This rig will plunge its drills nearly 3 kilometers down to the sea floor. A giant in the extreme world of offshore engineering. 8th of August, 2008. Today is a big day for the builders of Perdido. They are moving the bottom half of their oil rig from the construction dock in Texas out into the ocean. 18,000 tons of metal will travel 300 kilometers into the Gulf of Mexico. Here it will form the base for a state-of-the-art floating oil rig that will tap into 3 newly discovered oil fields. Perdido is expected to produce enough oil every day to fill up 150,000 cars with petrol. When it comes online, it will reach deeper into the sea than any other oil rig on the planet. Oil has been the engine of the world economy for over a century, but hardly ever without an impact on the environment. In 1884, the Great American Oil Rush profoundly alters the sleepy town of St. Mary's in Ohio. The lure of a quick fortune brings in a flood of would-be Rockefellers. Within a few months, they completely transform the landscape. Oil rigs spread across the plain to extract the black gold from an oil field over 300 meters below. But one day, their relentless march comes to a grinding halt at the shores of Grand Lake. It is only 3 meters deep, but it becomes a big obstacle for the drilling crews. Engineer Ed McCann demonstrates why.
It's curious, but drilling in the old drills that we imagine spin around, they use percussive techniques, banging. And here you'll see that all they really did to drill was they lifted a weight up with a point on it and let it fall onto the rock. Then you do it again. And if we look closer at this, what we can see is that we're making a tiny little chip every time. So you have to do this a lot. But once you've got this mechanized, you can do up to 10 minutes a day like this, which was plenty and adequate. Now, once they moved this sort of operation out over water and they started looking for stuff that was underneath water, they found themselves in a whole new ballpark. So here we've got our tank of water, and we're going to give our percussion drilling another try. I lift up the pile hammer, and I drop it, and you can see immediately it's not going nearly as fast through the water. The other thing that's happening is it doesn't go down straight, it tends to deviate off. And this is essentially because the water provides more resistance to the falling pile hammer than air. And frankly, I could carry on doing this for the rest of time, and I wouldn't dig a very big hole. It's this. So the way that this works is the tube is basically pushed down into the soil, so it forms a reasonable seal there. And you pump the water in. The pile hammer is then able to act as if it was in dry air. See what happens. I've got my tube here, and we can see pretty much straight away that it's back towards the fall velocities that we had when it was in open air. And what's more, it's hitting right on the spot.
This simple tube gets the oilmen past the watery barrier. They build wooden platforms for their drilling equipment and drill down into the bed of the lake. Steadily, they chip away at the rock until they finally break through to the oil. Within just a few years, hundreds of rigs spring up on land, which become birthplace of the offshore oil rig. While the base of the Perdido is still on its way to the oil field, an exploratory drilling rig, the Clyde Boudreaux, is preparing the ground at the site. Perdido will tap into 35 different wells, and the men on the Clyde Boudreaux are pre-drilling 22 of them. The Clyde Boudreaux has a drill with a twist in it. As it plows through the rock under the rig, there comes a point where it needs to change course.